The Pat Jones Show. Brought to you by Arby's Roast Beef Restaurants. Different is good. And by Liberty Bank, with 10 convenient locations to serve you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Pat Jones Show. I'm Robbie Robertson, along with Oklahoma State head football coach Pat Jones. The Cowboys opened their 1992 season on September 5th with a resounding 35-3 win over Indiana State. And Pat, congratulations on a nice victory. That's the way to start your ninth season as head coach here at Oklahoma State.
Robbie, thank you. And again, like we said after the ball game was over with, there's a lot of things that we've got to get better at, and there's a lot of football left to be played. But considering what this group has been through, the guys that have been around here, it's a good way to start the season. We had a lot of new guys involved in the thing. We weren't real sure how they would respond to the pressures of game competition, and I think we started really finding out some things about some people that will continue for a while, but a good start. I think that'll do nothing but help our squad morale.
Let's talk about the ball club as you get ready to start, or now you're into your ninth season. A lot of new faces on the squad, and what can you tell us what are some of the things that maybe you were anticipating about this season, some of these players, or what was going through your mind through spring and fall ball?
Well, again, the interesting thing, Robbie, is that we've had a pretty good number of these guys only for about a month. We had gotten a substantial number of guys in for spring practice, because spring practice, again, is only 10 days in pads now. So we just had them over a month. We had to go fairly rapidly with, and speaking about mostly the junior college transfers, had to go pretty rapidly with them, and on the same hand, not try to give them so many things mentally that burdened them too much where they couldn't just go play. So that was kind of what we were dealing with there. But again, Andy Loveland, the quarterback, who was under a lot of pressure, more pressure, I'm sure, than when he got right up to game time, even than he thought he would be under, just because of the nature of things. And I thought he handled himself well. Shannon Culver, the receiver, who stood out in a lot of areas. Scott Tyner, the kicker and the punter. Keith Burns, the heralded linebacker. And I could name a number of other guys who, again, have not been in this program for a very long time. And it's unlike they've lived across the hall or in the same dorm with these guys for 3 and 4 years. They've only been there really since some of them from the spring and some of them during two-a-days. So a real interesting blend of guy who is just now really starting to come together.
All right, well, let's get into the 1992 season as Oklahoma State gets underway against the Indiana State Sycamores. There are the team captains as we get ready to start the ball game, and right off the bat, there's one of the new faces, Scott Tyner.
Well, Scott Tyner, again, who doubles as both the kickoff guy and the punter. The wind shifted on us a little bit. They won the toss, elected to receive. He kicked it down to our coverage unit, really did a good job. They've got the thing down here. Now, we've picked up here the action. They have driven down the length of the field. Didn't get big plays, but kind of piecemeal went down there and really never made a real mistake. And I think one of the best things we did defensively is not really panic. They tried to run a reverse, and we had it played at the point of attack, and the pursuit caught up with them. So even though they're inside the 20, here you can see that we had them bottled up. And again, like we talked about, there's a lot of things we got to get better at, but I thought we basically swarmed the football pretty good. This is the third down play. The quarterback had some running skills. Now, he got banged around pretty good. He did right there, even though they drove the ball down there.
And did get a field goal.
And got a field goal out of it. We get the ball right back. Okay, now this was not the first play. We had missed a couple. We started out real basic. I mean, we were just really concerned about center quarterback exchanges, substitutions. Here you see Denson break this play to the split inside. I thought early on that our offensive linemen, considering, did a pretty good job. We didn't want to, again, burden any of this crew with a heck of a lot of possibilities of audibles, or we just kind of got in a good huddle, got out of a good huddle, and got the play off, drove the ball out, made a couple of first downs. Again, Tyner comes back in the ball game. He hit this one 50 yards or so into the wind. The kid goes back and feels it inside the 10. It would have gone out anyway. Tyler Williams gets down there and makes a good hit. So now we're 3 points behind, but Scott has gotten off a big punt. They've got the ball on the 15-yard line. This was a third down play, if I remember correctly, that went down, and they tried to run this little old option. And Henley, again, was not a guy that really scared you as far as running off from you, but he He has got some running ability. There's Keith Burns, 44, Scotty Harmon, who I thought played a extremely good ball game. Again, they came and gambled here in a minute on fourth down, made it. We get the ball back.
This is second quarter action.
Okay, yeah, second quarter action. This was a 1st and 10 call. Shannon Culver, the wide receiver, we're going to see a repeat of it. Andy Loveland did a nice job of the mechanics of the play fake. Looked the ball inside, now he gives it to Culver. And really, when I saw this the first time on film, Robbie, if he'll just turn it loose, he might go score. But now, like a lot of other guys, this is the first time he has gotten loose in the open field at this level. But it was a big play. Come back and give the ball to Denson. Watch him run through this guy there. He bounced off. And the thing that I noticed about him throughout the course of the evening, and had been talked about and much discussed in the offseason, is at his strength, and I could tell that. I mean,
that happened several times through the course.
Yes, it
of the
did.
game.
Watch
He's
this
a bigger,
here.
stronger player.
He is, and he'll continue to be that way, and he'll get continually better and better. He is still just a true sophomore. See, he runs through an arm tackle. Number 8 has a pretty good shot. He tried to butt him down and couldn't do it. Now he's in the end zone. We've gone ahead now 7-3. And things are starting to pick up now. They get the ball back here.
This is the very next series.
Next series. See, now we've got them scrambling around. All right, there's Gilden with a sack. We see a repeat of it. Again, see some pressure there by Michael Woolridge, 47. They couldn't really threaten us deep with their receivers, I didn't think. And again, Henley had made a scramble. There, Gilden gets him down. They come back out. Okay, try to run a little sprint pass. They were doing some safe things throwing the ball, or allegedly safe things. Terry Henley makes a real good interception. They hit us late. We get a penalty, so bang, bang now. We've had a couple of big plays. Again, Gilden's sack. They come out and try to throw the little rollout, and Henley makes a nice interception of it here. Again, you can, boom, right there is the late hit.
Right.
We get the penalty, go off down there. This is a nice scramble by Loveland. This is a 3rd down play, if I remember correctly. This is one thing I was curious to see how he would do. That's Fred Thomas. Nice catch. We get the ball down to the 1. Here's a replay coming up. Loveland has got some elusiveness about him, and it appears that his judgment on this sort of stuff is pretty sound. Again, he just didn't gun the ball into a linebacker or something. Fred had broken a route and come back across the field, caught it, and now we get down to the 1. We were actually using the Mark Williams as a backup tailback in here, got in a goal line formation. It was an unbalanced, which we have done. They didn't adjust to it. We got a big hole. Mark goes busting in. They had lined up offside. This is Mark Williams again. We went in saying that we were going to play a number of tailbacks. Again, Mark being the second guy, and then we'll see some other ones as things start to unravel. Okay, they get the ball, come back down here. This was a bad throw on their part. Dimitri Markham making his first start. We had lost there in Turquoise, one of our corners in practice late in the week to a knee injury. I think he's going to be okay. Now, this is not a well-thrown ball, but again, Markham makes a nice interception. We go in at halftime with 14-3 lead, and in times I think we're playing pretty well.
Let's talk about that injury to Turquoise. That happened pretty late in the week, so you had to make some adjustments there in the secondary, and it seemed like the corners held up pretty well during the course of the game.
I was really pleased with the way the entire secondary played, particularly Scott Harmon.
Right.
Thought Markham handled things well. Again, they didn't have the ability, in my opinion, to threaten us deep. I was afraid of that. But we played pretty well. They never really did get in behind us and hit some things up in front of us. We got a couple of interceptions and tackled well, I thought. So I thought the entire secondary really adjusted. Again, Dimitri Markham, a converted receiver in his first start, game 1. So, no, I think he gave a good account of himself.
Were you and Coach Gundy and really probably the whole staff, I would imagine, were you observing Loveland to see how, if he was playing under control, able to recognize formations, defenses, that sort of thing?
Well, we started off, and by design, Robbie, we said, how is the very simplest we can make it? The first series, which we didn't really see here, we lined up in 2 tight ends and a flanker. We didn't give him any audible situations. We did not. We thought the worst case scenario for our offensive unit would be to go out there and somebody get confused on a substitution, a mishandle an exchange, get him to thinking too much. And I saw some of his remarks after the ball game. He thought, I said I was even more nervous than I realized I would be, which guys tend to get that way at this level. So we were being very, very basic. We knocked out a couple of first downs and punted him when we were behind 3-0. Wanted to be fairly guarded about throwing the ball back on our end of the field, particularly early on. Now, we start doing some of that later on. But again, even though we had seen some things in practice, you don't know how one of them is going to react. And interestingly enough, Robbie, I think somebody told me this, that this was the first season opener since 1977 or something that an Oklahoma State team has not had a turnover. We didn't have a fumble. We didn't have an interception. So we were pretty guarded with what we were asking both Loveland and the offensive unit to do in the early outing, and kind of built upon that.
Okay. Cowboys off to a good start, leading Indiana State 14-3. At halftime, it gets better. Stay with us. Pat Jones Show continues right after this.
I'm Barry Sanders. I get asked all the time who the best running back is in the NFL. Well, I don't have an answer, but my friend Thurman Thomas could probably tell you who it is.
Thanks a lot, Barry, for putting a lot of pressure on me to answer this question. I don't know who the best running back in the National Football League is, but I bet they went to Oklahoma State.
Come see the next great NFL running back during his career as an Oklahoma State Cowboy. Purchase your season tickets today.
Robbie Robertson back with Pat Jones. We get ready for the second half of the Oklahoma State-Indiana State game. Oklahoma State leading 14-3 at halftime. Cowboys get to go on offense here for this is the first play after a nice 28-yard kickoff return by Scotty Harmon.
Yeah, Scott Harmon did a good job. Now here Denson breaks the draw. I really would have liked to have seen us take this kickoff here at the second half and obviously drive it down.
You only had like 18 snaps in the first half.
They actually held the ball on us more than you would have liked in the first half. I knew we didn't have it much. We got in halftime and said we've only had the ball 18 plays. And number one, we need to sustain it. Number two, we need to stop them a little bit better, 3-and-out type of stuff. But again, Denson breaks the draw. We get out to midfield fairly early on, run this little play action again. Now Loveland does, again, a pretty good job right here of dumping that ball off to Derrick Jones, the tight end. And Derrick kind of gets it. Pick your feet up and let's run, Derrick, okay. But this type of stuff really gave us a clue about Loveland, again, from the decision-making standpoint when things are starting to break down, which obviously will happen. You know, he had made some pretty good scrambles, had a presence of mind not to throw the ball in a crowd, saw Derrick come open. We get him out there, and here he goes. So we're moving the ball pretty good at this point.
We missed a field goal, then we exchanged punts, so this is later in the quarter.
Okay, Lawson Vaughn, our freshman kicker, had come in, and I thought he had made it. Obviously he didn't because they didn't rule it. Okay, but here they come. Now here's Kip Henley, their quarterback, coming back. Don't have anybody open. Now here's Gilden around him. There's Funchess and some other people. Carlos Irving, looked like the ball might have come out. Again, a pretty good series defensively, so we have moved it. We have stopped them. Now they get the ball back on their end of the field. We ran a little bit of a blitz. They try to bounce the thing outside. Cornell Cannon, number 11 here, I thought really played a good ball game. Again, I thought probably the best thing I saw out of us defensively was our secondary. I thought, again, Harmon and Cannon and the corners really played well considering. We stop them.
Excuse me, Coach. We've moved to the fourth quarter. There was no scoring in the third quarter, and you really came up with a big fourth quarter.
Well, again, I didn't have the impression over there that they could beat us unless we did something really nutty, gave the ball up down deep or something like this. Here's the draw again. From where I was standing, I thought he might score. Right there's the tight end getting away. He's going to run in the back of a receiver right there. Couldn't tell who that was, but he as the game went on, it looked like that Raphael and the tailbacks became a little bit more aggressive. This is a nice throw right here across the middle to Shannon Culver. You couldn't really see it. Culver, number 3, again, is really. I think he's really going to be a good player. We're going to help our football team. Really enjoys playing the game. Has got good hands, good speed. Our protection was good here. Nice throw by Andy Loveland across the middle. Again, now at this point, we're playing fairly good defensively. We got the ball out in kind of what you consider a freewheeling zone. So we're going ahead and doing some things. You know, as the ball game went on, we got a little bit more comfortable with things. Boy, this is really a great catch. Nice throw, nice touch pass. These are the things you like to do with Denson eventually to get him a little bit more involved in the throwing game. He had avoided a linebacker. Andy does a great job of sitting back in here and touching this ball in. He laid out, really made a nice catch. That was a big play right here for us. Now come off, give the ball. Now this is some strength stuff here. Now they're wearing down, I can tell, and Denson's not. Again, we had spelled Denson throughout the night, and we had been out there a limited number of plays in the first half. But again, he ran through some arm tackles and just kind of bulls his way in. Good job, Roger Frankson, knocking the linebacker down. Good job, Greenlee.
Runs over Greenlee.
Yeah, he does. Well, again, you can tell the added strength and aggressiveness there. And again, these are experienced things that you go through, and he's getting better at that.
This is Indiana State's next possession, and a big hit here from Cornell.
Well, this was a funny turn of events. Yeah, he got to scramble and dump the ball off, and Cornell just drilled the guy. It excited our sidelines so much that about half of them went running out there. Bang,
Boom.
hello. And there's Keith Burns there too. One of their guys mouthed off a little bit. It was half the distance. There were 2 penalties on that play. Gave them a first down. But you can see now it's kind of scramboli out here, and he's trying to run around. And he had been hit a lot on his scrambles, and traditionally that will tell on a guy, and it did on this kid here. Fumbled, and I think Woolridge got it. Throw first down, nice throw. Shannon Culver, Andy Loveland, little play action that is something fairly easy to throw. But Culver came open on it. We had him open on it one time in the second half and elected to throw the ball to tight end, and the ball got tipped. Good throw here,
Perfect
Loveland.
throw.
Yes, sir. He drilled it right in behind the corner and right in front of the safety. And touchdown, Shannon Culver, and his first score as a real college football player. Now, we've got Gary Porter in the ball game. This guy here now, he is a live wire. You can't see it at the end of this thing, but watch old Porter. This is his first play as a real college football player, throwing against the grain, throws it out there. Steve Keith, the tight end, good catch. That's a way to hold on to the ball. And now Porter's firing his 6 guns and shaking his fists, and here he comes.
Moving those chains right down the field.
No, we kind of just cut loose and let him play right here. Watch this one. Now he zings this one. The same route we had thrown to Shannon Culver. He threw it in there. Come on, let's go score now, Culver. They said, good job of us. Don't be spinning that ball too much. Let's again catch it and let's go score. Good play fake. Porter sets back in here, and he was not timid about anything. He's got a strong arm. He guns this one in here just like you would want it to. Again, you got a guy that catches it in striding. Let's quit looking around. Let's just go run. Now, these are the things that, again, guys will get better at as they start, again, getting a feel for things. This is still all very, very new to them. Okay, here we go. We put Russell Berrien in the ball game. Turn around, toss the ball to him on a sweep. Good run, Russell. He spins and dives and gets in. So, again, you see there again. So they're all
He needs
happy.
to keep his hat on,
Well,
doesn't he?
well, probably should. But, again, watch this. Now, Berrien has started games for us, and you can see this is a good aggressive run. Get in the end zone, touchdown Oklahoma State. So, again, 35-3 is the final.
Now, that's a pretty nice picture, I'm telling you. There were a lot of happy people in that locker room, Coach.
Well, again, I mean, if you could probably have written a script for it, it'd probably come out about this way. Again, I keep on reiterating we got to get better at things, which we certainly do. But Indiana State played pretty well. They did not really, particularly the first couple of drives, they didn't make many mistakes. They had a pretty nice little plan. They did some things to take advantage of some of our new personnel. And, I mean, we had to play. It wasn't a matter of them just going out and awarding us the game. And then as things started going, and we got a little bit more aggressive and things started unfolding, I thought we went ahead and played pretty well in spots. Again, and we're fully aware that these are 1AA people. We're aware that we'll play a lot better personnel as we go through the course of the season. But again, I know the last drive when Indiana State had the ball, we basically, with a few exceptions, had a lot of our scout team guys out there. This is the first time we've had the luxury of doing this in a pretty good while. Conversely, the morale is good. There was more hooping and hollering in that dressing room probably we've seen in a long, long time. I mean, even including the Holiday Bowl win. We were so used to winning big at that time. I mean, this was like the Super Bowl to these guys. Yeah. And again, you want them to be that way. On the same hand, we'll hammer here for a while, which we'll talk about later on, the realism part of it, and understand what we have done and what we've still got to do.
It's a great way to start the season, though. The Cowboys beat Indiana State by a score of 35-3. Stay with us. We'll talk about the play of the week when we come back and more here on the Pat Jones Show. We'll be back right after this.
The play of the week is brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
We had lots to choose from, but we picked Raphael Denson's first touchdown run.
Well, this is the first score, and I think what you can see here, we're going to see it again. Like we had talked about earlier, shows that he is a little bit stronger, and he's getting a little bit more aggressive. This is a nice cut. Again, you're going to see him glance off a guy right there. and hits air and gets on into the end zone. But I think as things start to unravel, he will continue to do these sorts of things, and we know we're going to play against better competition.
What else did you get accomplished in the Indiana State game?
Well, I think we found out a little bit of what Loveland's all about and how he can scramble around. Things went fairly smooth from the sidelines to the huddle and in and out, those types of things. So now we still got to improve, but we found out some areas that at least we know more about them.
All right. Cowboy magic moment still ahead, and we'll talk about what's going to happen in the weeks ahead for Oklahoma State. The Pat Jones Show will continue. We'll be right back after this.
This Cowboy Magic Moment is brought to you by Johnson's of Kingfisher and Chickasha. The first time Oklahoma State touched the ball to start the 1988 season, Barry Sanders stunned Miami of Ohio with a 100-yard kickoff return. The Cowboys scored 52 points on the day, the first of 3 straight weeks of 50 or more points. Sanders' electrifying run was another Cowboy magic moment.
We'll have a magic moment for you each week here on the Pat Jones Show. In 2 weeks, Coach, at Michigan.
Got to get better fundamentally, got to get better with our effort, got to get better with our execution. Let's take 2 weeks and hammer it out.
All right, very good. Good luck to you. Thanks for joining us. The Pat Jones Show will be back in 2 weeks. Check your local listings, if you will. We appreciate you being with us. For Pat Jones and Oklahoma State University, I'm Robbie Robertson. Goodbye, everybody.
The Pat Jones Show has been brought to you by Arby's Roast